let's talk about artifacts. As a critical part of our history, what are the techniques that your department is using to preserve artifacts? We'll talk about the ones probably stolen by the people who came before us, but let's talk about the ones that we have first.
Yeah.
What are the techniques of preservation that you have in your department?
Okay, so what we do at the National Museums of Kenya is ensure that the fossils and the objects that we get in the field, this is from Turkana, Olga Saile, these are objects that have been there for years. And with time, they get to be, of course, the texture begins to change, but there are researchers and scientists who specifically deal with that. So what we do is we have scientists who specifically use the right chemicals and use the right combination of chemicals to ensure that they safeguard this. At the NMK, we have the original Turkana boy. And the original Turkana boy, we do not display it anywhere because you can never find another Turkana boy. And so for us to display it is going to erode the whole aspect of originality in it, whereby if someone touches it and over years you'll find that you might even break it. So what we do, we have a vault at the NMK where we safeguard this. And at the same time at NMK, we have a whole department that deals with ensuring that the curators actually understand and see how those fossils and objects are kept in such a standard that years and years to come they'll still be functional. So we also sell casts. What I mean by that is we take the NMK and the fossil, the Turkana boy fossil that we have there. The Turkana boy fossil was found in the year 1984 in Turkana, and it was then 106 million years ago is when it was found. So you find that in such a situation, we cannot be showcasing this artifact. So what we do is create casts, like samples of the same. So you purchase it from us. So when you have it, like Uhuru Gardens, we have one, but it's not the original. And you find in America, in British Museum, there is a similar one, but it's not the real one. So the only one where you'll find the same in the whole world is only Kenya. So we take these artifacts very seriously, and the fact that some of our artifacts have been stolen and they're not here anymore. And as Kenya, we never ratified a very important convention that would put us at the table where we have a say, called the 1970 UNESCO Convention on the illicit and export and import of these stolen artifacts. So you'll find that since 1970, we never ratified this convention as a country. Which that means is you cannot have a say in saying that give us back our artifacts, while in fact you are not part of the member states that have ratified this convention. So we did that as a country last year, and I'm very happy about that, because as a regime, you'll find that that was one of the very important and key promises His Excellency the President made to the people of Kenya. And once we ratified that convention, we have a seat at the table right now. So we can have a conversation where we're saying, listen, British Museum, you have our artifacts hanging in your museums, in your exhibitions, and we want them back. And we're not asking politely, we're demanding for them. Of course, there's diplomacy involved, foreign policy involved, but at the end of the day, you find have these African countries, like for instance, the other day, Nigeria asked for their artifacts in the year 2021. We as Kenya have not officially asked for it. Yes, there are communities, there are organizations that have been doing that, but for us to have that conversation is first of all to ratify the convention, which we did last year, then come up with a policy on matters restitution of our artifacts. And restitution, when you're given these artifacts, the skull of Koitalel Arab Samoy, for instance, never found. We keep saying, is it in Hungary? Is it in the British Museum? Where exactly is it? And you find that once we trace that, we know exactly where it is. We had a certain inventory research done by through the Germans who funded us as government, but we did the implementation of that as government, that we found 37,000 objects and artifacts missing and in different museums and institutions
belonging to the Republic of Kenya,
belonging to us. So you see, it's a conversation that we need to take seriously. Okay, and not just take seriously, because once we are given back our objects, where are we going to put them? That's a conversation we need to have. Okay, so are you going to give these skulls back to the community? And the person you're giving back to, do they practice these cultural practices still, or their ancestors practice this and right now they're Christians, so they're not interested in practicing what you practice? Like for instance, the Vigango. The Vigango is where now the Griama people have this sort of spiritual beings that they have in wooden sticks, that plaques that they put outside the house and the huts of someone who dies, a spiritual leader. So this was stolen and taken to America, for instance. And last year we got 85 vigangos back to the country. And we gave this back to the community in the Kaya Forest in Kilifi County. So you see, for us, first of all, the important thing was ensuring that we have a policy framework that works, not just ratifying a convention and at the end of the day, we don't have a policy that supports this ratification. So I think we're headed in the right direction, whereby I think in the next 10 or 5 years, we should be having half, if not all, of our artifacts back in the country.
Quite an interesting conversation.